Firstly, we created an agenda for each meeting. Secondly, I, as a PM, I started to join some of the meetings to coordinate that, the ship is not going too far into the ocean, that it's like actually coming to the seaside mostly.
So before this pandemic occurred, we already had daily stand-up meetings. These arose because we wanted to share our ongoing efforts. When I was the team lead of Atlassian experts, we had many projects ongoing in one team. So people were curious what the others were doing and how we can use their knowledge to implement it in your project. So we needed to have a platform to exchange ideas. And that platform was daily stand-up meetings when we were explaining what we were doing and what our plans were. So this is something that, of course, still persisted when the pandemic hit in and when we turned remote, and that works really well. It's very similar to Scrum daily stand-ups. Well, nobody can just walk up to my desks and interrupt me whenever they want. Slack messages and emails are, let's say, easier to postpone than people standing over your head. And I use this. When I need to focus, I turn off the notifications and let the messages pile up for a while, and then I work through them one by one later. When somebody needs an immediate answer, they use the phone or call me on Slack, and that's not as often as walking up to my desk, and that happened before. So I'm happy about that, and the importance of stuff people contact me about has gone up. So some kind of filtering happens before I am contacted, and that's good. And the benefits are really for everybody because people feel more empowered, I think, and I feel that I can focus more on my work.
You don't have that opportunity to just come up to someone and ask them a question, or you don't pass people in the office and you just remember that you have that thing to ask them and you can do it right now. You have to plan a time to write them, to schedule a meeting. It has to be, I don't know, a certain time. So everything is much more planned right now. I actually really miss that spontaneous meetings or talks about everything. But that's the thing that changed the most for me. And I feel like it impacts the most my day-to-day work.
You do not have time to just discuss everything because working remotely is quite harder because you do not have such a big amount of time in a day. You need to stay a little bit more focused and strict about some kind of informations. So this was the first big change when it comes to switching for the remote.
Keeping the right, I would say, atmosphere between each other, it's crucial when it comes to not only remote working, but also in real life. But on the other hand, remotely, it's much more difficult.
Find a way to work with each other really quickly and started to trust each other super fast. So it really bonded us that way. So the outcome of this pandemic thing is maybe shockingly because it kind of doesn't add up, but we created a strong bond inside the team, and because of this close-knit cooperation, we are managed to do things better now.
I think we've been still are a very well-integrated team. And remote work did not affect it that much. So relationships that we have built before were transferred into the new experience. And people have been working from home from time to time before COVID. So we've been kind of prepared for it. And not to this scale, of course, but it wasn't something completely new to us. So there was no big problem. But I think the lesson here is that it's good to be prepared, to practice different scenarios before they happen. And it's a bit like a fire drill, right? So when the bell rings, you know you should be out of the building as fast as possible. And it's just automatic because you've done that in safe environment before.
The most important, I would say, is that you observe and that you ask, that you know your people and you spend enough time to consult with them, not only about if this task is going well, but also how they feel about the project, how they cope with some problems that they are around these tasks.